Is the U.S. spy agency's latest move a big blunder that actually opens the door for Iranian infiltration into its own secret channels? By posting detailed instructions in Farsi to attract Iranian dissidents, has the CIA committed a major slip-up that Iran's own security services can now easily exploit? Has Washington effectively told Tehran how to flood the CIA with fake tips and crafted misinformation, by publicly explaining exactly how to contact the agency in secret? And with Trump confirming he could order strikes if the next round of talks collapses, is the CIA's possible error raising the risk of miscalculation at the worst possible moment?
We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen.
Amid a massive U.S. military buildup in the Middle East, Washington's spy agency has issued an unusual public message, releasing a new appeal clearly tailored for people inside Iran. On February 24th, the CIA published a video in the Persian language, aimed directly at attracting Iranian dissidents and encouraging them to reach out securely to the agency. In the clip, the CIA explains in simple step-by-step fashion how Iranians can contact the agency amid renewed anti-government protests and heightened tensions with the United States. The video walks viewers through specific precautions they should take to ensure any communication is kept private and cannot be traced by Iranian security services. The CIA says its process is designed to ensure that the identities of Iranian dissidents who choose to make contact are kept secret and their safety prioritized. The message recommends that potential informants get in touch using a disposable burner phone, rather than personal or office devices that can be monitored. It also advises using the incognito or private mode of an up-to-date internet browser, to reduce traces of their activity on the device. The U.S. agency further instructs users to clear their device and browser history after making contact, removing any obvious record of visiting CIA pages. The video strongly encourages the use of Tor or a virtual private network to encrypt communications and hide the user's real location and identity. The CIA warns that without such encryption, simple visits to its website from inside Iran could be visible to others, including the regime's cyber and intelligence units. This is not the first time Washington has moved to support Iranian dissidents during unrest. The new appeal fits into a broader pattern of covert and overt assistance. According to reports, the United States previously smuggled around 6,000 Starlink satellite internet terminals into Iran to keep activists online after the regime imposed a sweeping internet blackout. U.S. officials said the operation was funded through State Department Internet Freedom programs, after Tehran cut connectivity during nationwide protests. The Wall Street Journal first revealed the Starlink smuggling operation, which was then cited by RT and other outlets in reports on February 13th. Officials told the paper that Trump was aware of the plan, though it remains unclear whether he personally signed off on the transfer of the terminals. In his State of the Union address on February 24th, Trump once again threatened Iran, warning Tehran to accept a far stricter nuclear deal or face unspecified consequences.
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. Good. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective.
At least 7,000 protesters were killed during Iran's latest crackdown, according to rights groups and activist networks cited in reports dated around February 11th to 13th. The protests, driven initially by shopkeepers and students, were sparked by Iran's flailing economy, severe inflation, and deepening public anger at corruption and mismanagement. Many analysts say this uprising is one of the biggest challenges to the Islamic Republic's clerical rule since the 1979 revolution overturned the Shah. Weeks after the deadly protests, "Death to Khamenei" chants again echoed in several Iranian cities on February 16th, signaling that fury against the supreme leader had not subsided. Subsequently, fresh anti-government demonstrations were reported, especially from Iranian universities, where students have repeatedly been at the forefront of dissent. These new protests flared just one day before the second round of America-Iran nuclear talks in Geneva, adding pressure to both sides as they return to the table. Washington and Tehran are now set to hold a third round of talks in Geneva on February 26, with diplomacy and covert pressure running in parallel as tensions remain high.